This show is heavily indebted to CNN's Crossfire and ESPN's Pardon the Interruption.
To all those haters out there who are really picky about stats and numbers, that's not us. We're just a couple of guys trying to have some fun. We're not Jake Los.
We're not geniuses.
No. But we hope you enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the 5th episode of News. The 5th. My name is Rene Hovell from LA.
And I'm Kevin McFarland from San Francisco.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about Mariah Carey, Crazy Bitch, Speed Racer. But today, we're going to start off with the Spurs and the Hornets series. What the hell's going on? The Hornets are up 2-0. Tim Duncan was held to how many points?
It was
5 or something
just
ridiculous?
completely low totals.
No, what's going on? Chris Paul is not, we see he's not the only good player in the Hornets. We got West playing like crazy. The Spurs are just defending champs. You'd figure they'd come in with some swagger. They'd come in, throw out these young, players in the Hornets. What's going on here?
Especially coming off beating the Suns.
Yeah.
You'd think that the Suns were the big challenge. The Hornets are the young and experienced team. Sure, the Hornets threw off the Mavericks, but the Mavericks, we knew
we're not going
to do great. And the Spurs threw off all the dust, were great in their first series against the Suns, and then have come in completely flat against the Hornets. New Orleans isn't Salt Lake City. New Orleans isn't the dominant home team that Utah's been. So it seems a little weird to me that San Antonio didn't at least show up in one of these games. They were Hornets won by 19 and then 18, something like that.
The other thing is that some people are saying, we shouldn't be freaking out because they've won in New Orleans. Win a game in San Antonio, then we're talking, because if the Spurs come back, win those 2 games, it's a series again.
Yeah.
But then someone has to win on the road.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't, it's the Boston Hawks series.
Yeah.
When you go back to New Orleans, if San Antonio can't win in New Orleans,
and you do not want to be tired for the finals of the Western Conference.
Because who are you going to play? You're probably going to play the Lakers, maybe.
Yeah. Or the Jazz. But you're probably going to play the Lakers. You're going to be tired as hell.
Going to be much more tired playing.
I hate the Spurs.
Final. All right, so the Kentucky Derby happened last weekend with the ensuing tragedy of 8 Bells, which brought up some interesting discussions about horse racing, about how they've been breeding horses to be faster and not stronger. The weirdest example of little stigma coming out of the Kentucky Derby to me is PETA condemning the jockey of 8 Bells, saying that he should be banned for a year. And I really don't agree with that kind of crazy thing, but I mean, looking at all of the stuff that surrounds the Kentucky Derby, it seems like it's a big event to Kentucky, it's a big event to people that like horses and like horse racing, but it's really the one time of the year that this comes out. We haven't had a Triple Crown winner in 20, 30 years. I'm not really big on this anymore.
I had a friend who was at the Kentucky Derby, and she said that, when it happened, the jockey was in tears. Because he was close to the horse, and he's been quoted saying that he didn't get a chance to say goodbye, and he was this close to this horse. I don't agree with what Pete's doing. The other thing is there's some things that need to change in horse racing in the United States. Though, first of all, steroids are allowed on horses.
That's true.
They're bred now for speed instead of durability.
They're not even watching.
Yeah, and the other thing, in Europe, horse races are more like cross country races instead of track races, where they're 2 mile, 3 mile races, where the sprints only matter at the end, while here it's just
a
sprint.
And
they're not caring about this thing. And the other thing, the life of a professional horse is 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's not
something ridiculous like that.
They're going at breakneck pace, and they're risking damaging injury and death to these horses.
All right. One of the big movies, we've talked about this already in the show coming out, is the new Batman movie.
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Comes out in July.
Yeah, comes out in July. All right, Kevin loves it. But it's going to be awesome. But in the new trailer, there are little, hints to perhaps a couple villains that, we haven't seen, that we have seen. So, for example, the rumors of maybe the Scarecrow coming back.
Yep.
There's a shot of perhaps the creation of Two-Face.
Yeah.
Coming on. So this leads to the question that I was talking with my roommate Joe Lala. What Batman villain would you like to see? I personally, Mr. Freeze, the non-Schwarzenegger one.
You want to see Mr. Freeze? I honestly would probably rather see the Penguin come out, just because I think it's a character that was completely different from the way that it's ever been portrayed in the comics.
Okay.
The Tim Burton film, portrayed as like a birth defect baby, as opposed to just kind of a short man that chooses to kind of align himself with this stuff. But I think it's really interesting that the series
like
has
the Mickey from Ron.
Yeah, a little bit odd there. That you take that the series has taken a completely different approach to these villains. The Joker, they try to ground these super villains in reality.
Yeah.
You try and ground the Scarecrow as a psychiatrist, Ra's al Ghul as a teacher.
Yeah. But I think you could do Mr. Freeze because Mr. Freeze is the classic tragic
villain,
hero character because he has good intentions. Just the way he's going about it is the bad one. Like he's trying to save his wife, and that's a noble cause.
That's the thing about the character, but Schwarzenegger completely ruined it.
No, Time to Chill is retarded. I'm sorry about saying retarded, but it's a horrible movie.
Yeah, it's not. It was written by the guy that wrote A Beautiful Mind. He got an Oscar for it, by the way.
If you want to get trash, watch that movie and drink every time there's a bad pun. You'll die.
Okay. Next up, San Diego State had a gigantic drug bust this past week. Something like 6 fraternities, 75 people have been charged, 128 arrests on just a wide variety of drug charges: marijuana, amphetamines, cocaine, ecstasy, selling to high schoolers, shrooms, 3 guns found in a house.
A shotgun?
Yeah, just the craziest amount of stuff in San Diego State. 4 fraternities that have chapters at NU, I believe: Theta Chi, Lambda Chi Alpha, Phi Kappa Psi, and Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Those chapters had members that were arrested. This is crazy.
First of all, we both have friends who go there, and we've spoken to them about what's going on. But this is straight out of Grand Theft Auto, Scarface shit. What the hell's going on? And the other thing that gets to me is how stupid these drug dealers were.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them is supposed to be an outstanding student that their newspaper said, but you send out
Homeland Security.
Yeah, it's Homeland Security away from getting a master's. You send out a text message, yo, come get some crack. What the fuck is that? The guy who went and asked them, he said, I go to state, hook me up. You don't ask anything else? You don't think that maybe, perchance, someone is looking out for this shit?
I think it's good that they caught this.
Yeah.
I mean, they started this investigation with the death of a 19-year-old last year who
with ethanol.
Cocaine and ethanol in their system, which is just ridiculous. It got way too far. I'm glad they cracked down on it, and it's unfortunate that it seeped this far into the...
There were ties to the Mexican mafia.
Yeah, it was absolutely...
You don't want to fuck with the Mexican mafia. They'll shove all type of burritos in your ass. Alright. The last thing we're going to talk about is WAMU. Right. It is Northwestern. This shit's been going on since before Truman. That's ages ago.
Yeah.
And I just saw it. You're a freshman. You're gonna see it because it's WAMU.
Yeah.
And I know you're not crazy about WAMU, but I saw WAMU last night, and I gotta say I was kind of disappointed. Everyone in WAMU is great. It was really good. Performances individually, there are really great people in there. We got Tate, Morgan Carr, Janelle Crow. There are all these great people in the show, but the show itself was a little weak. It was the first time that they WAMU's always criticized for not looking at not catering to the season ticket holders or the old people, but it just felt really tame. They were doing these dance moves that I've seen in Greece. It wasn't that good.
All the stuff I've read about it is that it celebrates musical theater because it's a review instead of a plot-driven production. And that, I already don't like musicals as it is. The plot is really what I can follow and try and grab onto as something to like. And without that, I know that stylistically I am not going to enjoy this show, but I feel that because it's the big show that we do, I have to go see it. It's something that it defines Northwestern.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing it. I probably won't be enjoying it.
I like WAMU because they've tried. Last year they had a nightmare opera rap techno number, which was incredible. And I liked it because they pushed the envelope. This year, it was the most real thing that I saw was a song by done by Kara Rifkin about reality TV.
That's cool.
I mean, it was good,
I mean,
and they completely talked shit about LA, which I'm about to shoot something. Alright, everyone, thank you. Stick around for the second part. We're going to try a new game. We'll see y'all in a little bit.
yeah, come on back.